Saw a lot of surfers out over the weekend. Boy, they're brave. They had their wetsuits on. Most of them did, but they're courageous.
Yeah, I mean, the wetsuits are great, but like my feet get so
and
cold.
the hands, your head and neck. Oh, it's just too chilly for me.
Yeah, a little chilly. But of course, outside it felt so nice. Let's hope that continues. Evan joining us now. What's going on?
It will continue. Nice warm temperatures across the coastline and really across the county for today through Wednesday as a ridge of high pressure sits overhead. Temperatures are going to be in the 70s today, tomorrow, and Wednesday for your afternoon highs. Just keep in mind there will be a wind advisory, meaning that those Santa Ana winds are going to pick up across the mountaintops. Right now, the setup overhead shows a little bit of cloud cover. Expect partly cloudy skies by the afternoon. The traffic situation right now, very light. There's just one crash to note that's on the 805 southbound. As we look toward about the downtown area, we'll run into a closer look in just a few minutes. Back to you.
A federal vaccine mandate takes effect today for businesses with over 100 employees. Those who haven't gotten the shot will need to get tested regularly for COVID-19. The Supreme Court heard arguments about the mandate on Friday. Justices signaled they could block it from going in place, with conservative justices voicing opposition. But the requirement is still allowed to take effect for now, while the court decides its future.
And this morning, more than 200 California National Guard members are in place to help ramp up testing efforts statewide. Starting today, a number of testing sites will open here locally. News 8's Dana Marie McNichol joining us live with everything we need to know here this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Eric. Well, Governor Gavin Newsom decided to deploy 200 California National Guardsmen to 50 different testing sites throughout the state. Now, 6 of those sites are now here in San Diego, and we're going to share with you exactly how you can get tested if you're waking up this morning with symptoms thinking, where do I get tested? I know it's hard to get a test, and also those lines are long. So this decision to deploy these 200 National Guard members continues as Omicron is at least 80% of COVID cases in California. Now, the focus is to increase access to testing quickly, increase that staff presence at testing sites, and also add in walk-in capability. Now, take a look at the listing of the testing sites in our area: Chula Vista, El Cajon, Escondido, National City, Oceanside, and Linda Vista. Do please take note that most of the sites aren't open today, but the El Cajon site and the site in Linda Vista is open today. Those are opening in just an hour here at 7 a.m. up until 7 p.m. So a wide variety and a range of timing where you can get in the morning or after work if you need to get that test. Now we have a full list of all of those addresses and those locations on CBS8.com. So use this resource as we continue to see people testing positive. Needing those tests is really important for us. So those are another opportunity for you to get tested. Again, CBS8.com, a great resource for you. Dana Marie McNichol, I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Hopefully people can get what they need. Dana Marie, thank you for that. Today, the governor is expected to announce more funding for the state's COVID-19 response when he releases his new budget proposal. He wants to direct $7 billion to go towards the pandemic, with 1.4 of that money to be earmarked as emergency funds to be used immediately. According to state officials, the proposed budget will also call for new legislation to put supplemental paid sick leave policies in place. And the COVID surge is putting a massive strain on hospitals, causing delays for people who need non-COVID emergency care. Patient wait times are getting longer as emergency rooms and ambulance services continue to be overwhelmed. The managing director of Falk San Diego, that's the city's emergency services contractor, is saying the number of patients has now gone up about 30%.
Our delays at the hospitals, which were averaging around 90 minutes, has doubled since that same time as we've seen COVID grow since then. There have been times where we're sitting in a hospital with a patient for up to 3 hours, and that's just not acceptable to be able to successfully run an EMS system, particularly in San Diego.
Yeah, people waiting in ambulances before they can get into the ER. Falk does get help from the San Diego Fire Rescue Department to make sure they have backup when people call in for those emergencies.
All right, families, you will soon be able to pick up rapid COVID tests for your child. Another shipment of 200,000 at-home tests arrived at the San Diego County Office of Education yesterday. At first, the county thought they were going to get 400,000 tests from the state for students heading back to class, but there was a delay because of the weather and high demand for these kits. Your child's school or district will contact you on when and where to get the test kits. Don't head down to the San Diego County Office of Education. We've seen people doing that. That is not advised. It's been nearly a month since a strike started between sanitation workers and Republic Services, and Chula Vista's mayor says the trash will be collected today despite these ongoing challenges.
Oh, people are so desperate to get the trash that's been piling up out of their areas. News 8's Chris Groh joining us live in Chula Vista. Chris, they're picketing behind you. Have they really been nonstop for what, over 3 weeks now?
For 3 weeks, and this is the same energy that we saw on day one, if you will. In fact, you can see them right there in the way of some of those replacement drivers. Now, eventually they do get through, but with some delay. Again, a lot of those that are driving, hearing from those that are on strike, and this being their third week, it remains to be seen again if that promise there that the mayor made will actually be fulfilled, if we will indeed see a lot of that overflowing trash being picked up. But again, the strike continues now for the third consecutive week. In fact, last Thursday, there was a chance that it could have come to an end. Republic Services did put out their latest contract offer, but it was voted down by the Teamsters here. They voted no on that latest offer, saying it does not meet their demands. They have been asking for greater benefits since obviously they've been frontline workers here. They've been working nonstop through the pandemic, but also trying to address some of their safety concerns and concerns with pay as well, too. So this is impacting a number of people in a number of different ways in our area. In fact, the NAACP now is calling on local leaders to do something about what they are calling the growing environmental and health impacts of the trash piling up. The organization says that customers have actually started bringing their trash to other complexes not served by Republic Services, and that is creating a health hazard. They're asking people to not do that. But again, that is something that they've noticed, especially in these larger apartment complexes where Republic Services normally would service that area. They're unable to get there, and therefore you're seeing those large dumpsters starting to pile up. Now, they also say, the NAACP, that it's difficult for low-income residents to drive their trash to landfills, along with increasing pollution. So they're specifically looking at those families and those community members as those being the most impacted here by this strike. So they are calling on local leaders to do something about this. Now, there are a number of ways that the city of Chula Vista and other cities impacted by this are kind of advising residents what to do with their trash. You can go to CBS8.com, click on that story link to find out the very latest. Eric and Netta.
Chris Groh reporting live for us. Thank you very much. Well, beloved actor and comedian Bob Saget has passed away.
Yeah, he was 65 years old. Detectives found him unresponsive at the Ritz-Carlton in Orlando yesterday. Saget was in Florida for a comedy performance. His cause of death unclear, but authorities say there's no foul play or drug use suspected. He was most widely known, as you know, for his role in the 90s sitcom Full House and as the former host of America's Funniest Home Videos. In a statement, his family said, "We want you to know how much he loved his fans, performing live and bringing people from all walks of life together with laughter." And he did that so well for so many decades, and he was still doing those comedy shows.
Yeah, and you certainly believe it, right? Because he was still performing.
Yeah.
You know, he definitely had obviously a huge name across America with Full House, but then America's Funniest Videos.
He was given the title of America's Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all tuned to him for some good laughs, didn't we, over the years?
Sure did. Yeah, bringing families together for decades. Let's check in with Evan now. I mean, I can't believe how nice it's going to be today.
Oh, yeah. 70s in the forecast, widespread. I mean, we haven't seen 70-degree high temperatures since late November. So the entire month of December, we were in the 50s and 60s. We've started off the month of January in the same format, largely 50s and 60s. Not quite as much wet weather as we rounded out December with. But hey, it's been still pretty chilly out there, or at least right around average. Whereas today, we are warming up already into the overnight hours. We're nice and warm. We are in the 50s right now. This is quite a difference. I mean, look at Ramona right now at 52 degrees. As we started last week, Ramona was in the upper 20s. So if you knock that in half, that's about where Ramona was at this time last week. Whereas now we start off this new week with those nice and warmer temperatures, at least. You may need still a jacket on hand before that sunrise. That'll come at about 6:52 or so, so about 40 minutes or so out. But once we do see that sun come up, those temperatures will warm nicely into the 70s. Now, The contrast between now and 24 hours ago: 19 degrees warmer in Ramona, 10 degrees warmer in Poway and Escondido, 14 degrees warmer in Fallbrook. Again, this is just the comparison to 24 hours ago. That ridge of high pressure keeps building, and that's what's contributing to this situation right now. Tomorrow, temperatures will hit their peak, even warmer than today, and then Wednesday they'll stay warm and then start to cool down as the low pressure system moves in on Thursday. That's the view outside from yesterday afternoon as the sun was going down. Warmer temperatures through Wednesday. Gusty Santa Ana winds. We'll be talking about that wind advisory shortly. Chance for some light drizzle as that low pressure system starts to make its way in Thursday morning. That'll be that marine layer that'll start to build, cooler temperatures, and chance for drizzle. Still pretty far out, but we'll talk about that in just a bit. Talking about traffic this morning so far, things have been very, very quiet on the roads. I do want to take you just first off to the 805 northbound. Right now, that's the only trouble spot that we're seeing. There is a crash on the 805 north, or southbound, I should say, and that is just around the South Park area. Besides that, slightly slower speeds along the Coronado Bridge. We'll check in on that crash in just a few minutes, too.